All right, good evening. This is the May 13th, 6 p.m. meeting of the Leominster Conservation Commission. The public is encouraged to follow along with the meeting using the posted agenda. I'd like to ask anyone attending the meeting to please silence all of your devices. My name is Jesse Averka. I am the conservation agent for the city of Leominster. Before we begin, please allow me to confirm which members are present. Robert Seichert.
Here.
Stephanie Quinlan.
Here.
Mike Cici.
Here.
Nick Venti.
Yeah.
Vice Chair Dr. Richard Golick.
Hello.
And Chairman Chuck Raymond.
Here.
All right, you want to take it up?
All right, thank you, Jesse. Just for point of clarification, it's May 13th, 2025, just so people, you didn't say the year, so keeps people.
Good to know, good to know.
Keeps people just transported in from the future, they'll know what year it is.
It's
Yes.
always important.
Of
It is
course.
very important, thank you. And secondly, something I've done since I've been chair, and nobody's ever called me on, is I want to open it up for public comment. If there's anybody here that has questions or comments for us that's not already on the agenda, feel free. If not, then I'll move on. Okay. Moving on, under new hearings, I'll go ahead and read it into the record. A request for a determination of applicability, or RDA. Edward Newcomb, represented by Trevor Fletcher, Graz Engineering.
Graz, yeah.
Yeah. For the proposed construction of an additional parking area at 166 Hamilton Street. Sir, can you please come and introduce yourself?
My name's actually Troy Rich with Graz Engineering.
Okay.
We had another meeting to go through tonight. So
Gotcha.
I'm on
Would
it.
you say Troy?
Troy.
Okay,
yeah.
thanks, Troy.
I got a couple copies of the plan if you guys need that.
Did you get his last name? Jesse?
Is it Troy Rich?
Rich, yeah.
Yeah,
R-I-C-H.
Cool.
I got
Okay.
4 copies if you guys don't mind sharing a little bit.
I can pull it up on the computer too.
Yeah, yeah, you can keep that. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, like I said, my name is Troy Rich with Graz Engineering on behalf of Ed Woodcomb for our project here on 166 Hamilton Street, also known as map 236 lot 1-1. So this currently exists as a multi-use building with existing pavement and parking and 1 lane of egress as shown here. They used to use the lot.
Do we have, I'm sorry, do we have the laser pointer?
I do not. I ordered it this week.
Oh, so, okay. all right,
It'll
sorry.
be here.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Just not in time for you.
So yeah, they used to use the parking lot to the west as another line of egress, and that owner put up Jersey barriers there on the left side. So now they just have the 1 mean of egress there on the east. So they want for, that's actually an older version. They made a last minute change. All they did was they put the parking on the other side and the access way more closer to the stairs. Guess Trevor didn't send you that one. These ones,
No, I
these
think
paper
we-
copies have that.
Let me see. Oh, is it? It's probably the lower
Oh,
case
there's a-
one.
There's
Yeah.
3 versions
This one?
there.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Jesse,
that's
I
the
couldn't-
final. They went through a couple with
I
with
couldn't tell
Ed.
which to use.
That's fair. Yeah, I should put more. I'll put more detail in there.
They went through a couple modifications with Ed recently. So this is the current one with 7 spaces there on the left side, and the access way closer to the fire escape stairs
Can you
there.
point for us, Jesse, or
Yeah.
use the cursor, one or the other, please?
Yeah. So.
So yeah, everything on the right side and behind the building is existing. And he's proposing that left, another access egress there to help with the traffic in there and for safety reasons going in and out in one way versus another way.
So, just a point of clarification, are they making a new egress, are they doing zero tech, and this isn't, not a Concom issue, but is there some kind of curb cut going on, or?
There will be, yeah,
Okay.
they've already talked to DPW and
Okay.
planning board.
That's
They were
all.
okay with that. They
Okay.
did want curbing along each side of it, which we showed
Mhm.
here. And yeah, there's an existing wetland down to the south
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
We didn't flag it, it was previously flagged. And upon the survey, it seemed reasonable. It was at the bottom of a pretty steep slope there. And kind of the vegetation coincided with their flagging. You can also see there is a 100-year flood at the base of that. That was revised in 2016. Initially, they had, I think, the whole lot from the old FEMA maps. So that was revised to show it's south of the development there. And yeah, we got curb showing on each side of it to route the water back. away from the roadway, away from the neighboring lot. And based on the existing grades, everything kind of goes to that existing catch basin there.
So where's the catch basin?
Down there on the east side, right next to the dumpster.
Yeah, it's right over here.
Yeah, right
Down there,
there.
thank you.
So the grades, as existing, everything flows that way.
Okay,
So we're proposing all the new area to kind of come down on the curb and route that way as
okay,
well.
okay.
So yeah, it is within the 100-foot buffer.
I'm gonna hand out the, Trevor had sent me the comments that you guys got from DEP and then the responses to those.
Yeah.
I got that stuff printed out, so
I
I'll
was
just
just
get
gonna
a copy of that.
go through that.
Yeah.
Quick question,
Yep.
so there is an existing curb on the south side of the property
The south side, down.
towards Route 2? Is that an existing curb?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay, so you're not proposing any erosion sediment control because you've got that curb there?
Yeah, he was proposing an erosion, what did he call it? Around that catch basin, to catch any,
Around the
if there
catch
was
basin
any
itself,
sediment
okay.
during construction.
Okay.
If there was any sediment that came down, it would be caught
Okay.
before it went into the catch basin there.
I don't think this requires an extension, or continuance, I should say, but if you could show that erosion sediment control around the catch basin,
Okay.
and then submit that to Jesse, that'd be appreciated.
Okay, yeah, I don't think it's shown there. I
No,
think it's in the
well,
notes.
If that's the most recent one, no, it's not shown.
Okay, yeah, I don't, so, yeah, he did put in the notes a drain guard shall be installed, but he didn't actually show it on.
A rain guard?
A
Is that what you
drain
said?
A
guard.
drain.
Oh, rain garden.
Yeah, a
Oh,
drain
alright.
guard
A
around.
rain
that.
garden next to the catch basin.
I thought that was kind of odd.
In the-
Okay.
Yeah, that would be.
So yes, he did get comments back from DEP, and he kind of answered these in this paper, which I'll go through. They were questioning, there was no form identifying the wetlands, and felt that wasn't necessary because we didn't flag it, it was previously flagged. Upon the survey, it appeared accurate. Flags were fairly recent. They were still hanging, still had Sharpie writing on them.
And it's a steep hill there.
Yeah, I believe it's like 4 or
So you're a
5.
lateral distance away more so than.
Correct. Yeah,
And there's existing impervious in between the actual wetland and the work that they're.
correct. Yeah, the pavement's at about 100, give or take, elevation, and those wetlands are down at about 96, 95. So you got 4 or 5 feet vertically from those wetlands up to the existing pavement. Again, they questioned the 100-year floodplain. Again, that was remapped in 2016 to show that it's pretty much at the bottom of the slope, that the site itself is not mapped in the floodplain anymore. They were saying that it's not exempt from stormwater management standards. However, upon looking at the history of the site, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, this whole lot existed as a pavement, as you can see in the
Mhm.
pictures,
Yeah.
which was approximately, I believe, 19,900 square feet of impervious area. And then since they've developed with the building, they've added a lot of mulch bed, grassing. So even with the addition of the proposed parking and another mean of egress, it's still about 900 square feet below what existed prior. Proposing no new untreated discharges. Believes this should be considered a redevelopment to meet the maximum extent practicable. Which again, it'll drain to that existing catch basin.
You can sit down if you like, unless you've been sitting all day.
I've been sitting all day.
Fair enough.
I can take the standing. And yeah, again, erosion controls will be placed around that catch basin.
Yep.
So any sediment during construction will be caught. And keeping that 16-foot access way between the parking and the fire escape per the regulation for 60-degree parking spots. This didn't require a site plan through the planning board or DPW
Okay.
or any stormwater management through them, because it's only 3,100 square feet of new construction,
Mhm.
new impervious, so he doesn't believe it needs NOI filing.
Okay.
That kind of covered everything here.
You all set?
Yeah, I think I covered
Okay.
just about most of it.
Erosion sediment control is my question. Anybody else have any
No.
thoughts, questions, comments? Yes, Jesse, if you just make a note to
Yeah.
when
Yeah, getting
the
it.
refile the maps, have the erosion sediment control shown around the catch basin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
realized an error in his notes as well, so.
Oh, is that what it says in the notes? Okay.
They put in the notes, but then there's another one that the parking spaces, there's 390 and 460. That was a previous version.
Oh, all right.
It's gonna be 760 degree as shown
Okay.
on the plan, so that's just an
Alright.
erroneous note there.
Okay. All right. So nothing from the commission? Anybody, oh, Nick?
So I'm curious, what would the stormwater management standards call for in this instance?
Per any other stormwater management plan, a reduction in peak flow, TSS removal, or some kind of recharge requirement to recharge
Sort of
that.
an infiltration device?
Yeah, some kind of infiltration device, which at that point, you do more disturbance, you'd have to outlet it somewhere, which would make more disturbance closer to the wetlands than what's really needed with this pavement.
You all say, Nick? Okay. Anybody else? All right. Anybody else in the public here have any three of you have any? No? Okay, all right. With that done, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing portion of the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Rich. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Mike.
And on that vote, Bob,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
and Rich.
Aye.
And Nate?
Oh, Chuck.
Aye.
Long day.
That's all right.
Long time on Zoom today.
And he's been sitting all day, so we all have our issues.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So Jesse, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't really have any concern, mainly just because it's, there's existing impervious in between the work that they're doing and the resource area
Yeah.
that actually gives us jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Like, technically, it's in that buffer zone, so I wanted them to file. I'm glad that you guys did. I would recommend, and I'll read it since we've had some discussion on these, but I would recommend a negative determination with option 3. The work described in the request is within the buffer zone, is designed in the regulations, but will not alter an area subject to jurisdiction under the act. Therefore, said work does not require the filing of a notice of intent.
So -3?
Negative 3.
Okay.
Yeah, you wanna look at them? Feel free to give me
Just
just
look it up before we call for a motion.
The 3 also says subject to the following conditions, otherwise isn't it?
I think 2 and 3 are very similar.
Oh, they are
Except-
very
The reason that I
Except
recommended,
for 3 adds other conditions that we're not adding here. So would
Well, but
would it be
3
number 2?
can I see it again?
Yep.
We gotta iron these down.
Yeah.
Request is within the buffer zone.
Well, 2 says something about not removing,
It
filling,
is-
dredging,
it is a
and
3,
altering.
it's in the buffer zone.
It is a
And
3?
2 is within the actual subject area.
Oh, so it is a -3, okay. All right, thank you. All right, so you're recommending a
That's
-3?
my
Okay.
recommendation.
And then, you all set? Okay, and then I entertain a motion for a -3 determination for the RDA for the subject property.
I'd like to make that motion, Chuck.
Thank you, Robert. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Nick.
And on that vote, Mike,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All right.
All right.
Thank
No,
you,
sir, Troy,
guys.
thank you very much.
Have a
Yeah,
good rest
thanks
of
for
your
coming.
evening.
Yeah, you
You
too,
too.
Troy.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, under continued hearings, now we're into the record. Notice of intent, Cross Point Associates, represented by Douglas Dillon, Goddard Consulting LLC, for proposed improvements and construction for the redevelopment of a currently existing fast casual restaurant building. Love that term, fast casual. Formerly a Pizzeria Uno at 905 Merriam Street, DP number 199-1214.
Over here.
We're going old school tonight, folks.
We're breaking it out.
So I like the rock things. We also, I'd like to add a representative from the engineering firm, Joey Fonseca, so if you have any more of the specific kind of directed stormwater questions, you know, happy to tag in with him. So I know that was some of the only, I guess, questions. We submitted a new stormwater and make sure it's.
And you're Doug?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry to fall over. Good enough.
So,
you were in front of us about a month ago,
yep.
ish. And remind us why we got continued?
Yeah, just because there was an incomplete stormwater, and you guys wanted to see some of the proposed, you know, like landscape, kind of like curb cuts turned
Okay.
into a at grade, rather than like a raised, like a 6-inch like
Right.
concrete curb, so
Right.
you know, potentially we can make like a little infiltration bed type
Right.
area.
Correct.
I don't recall offering that opinion.
I did.
Did you?
I asked about
That's
the,
where it
instead, yeah, so we just would allow more natural watering of the infiltration and watering of the plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I do remember talking about the curve.
Yeah.
Kind of very technical. I guess might as well use you, Joey, do you want to
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
tag in and just kind of discuss the.
I'm sorry, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, my name's Joey Fonseca, I'm the project manager with.
Good, thank you.
So I think part of the continuance too is we didn't have a DEP file number issued, so the file
That's-
number is now
Boom,
issued.
okay.
They did have some comments regarding, this is a redevelopment, so it is to the maximum extent practicable. They were asking for us to kind of look at ways like, I think it was standards 3 and 4, just regarding water quality and potentially some infiltration benefits here. So this development, the existing development under the UNOs, has pavement kind of right up at the top of the bank before it heads down into that well, and you can see here on the screen. With the proposed improvements, we are removing about 5,000 square feet of impervious coverage, just because Chick-fil-A and their drive-through is kind of pinching into the site a little more. They wanted to make sure the drive-through was outside of the sewer and drainage easements on the east side and south side of the building. If you don't mind going to the next sheet. Yeah, there you go. So you can see really the largest removal of the impervious area, existing parking is along the east side and south side of the building, and it accounts for about 5,000 square feet. So part of the comment was, can we increase, even though we've got an increase in infiltration inherently, just because we've got an increase in impervious surface now that's gonna be landscaped.
You know, so you said increase in pervious.
Pervious, correct, yeah, so we've got a 5,000.
It's easily misheard, so.
Essentially, yeah. What can we do for water quality improvement? So on the sort of southeast corner of the turn, as you head towards the pickup window, which is east of the building, that gray shaded rectangle, there's a rain garden that we're a bioretention basin that we're proposing, that was where we had a catch basin in that corner. Actually, if you wanna look to the landscape plan, it might be towards the end, it might be easier to see it. But there was a catch basin there before, again, all the stormwater is being tied into the existing infrastructure on site. We removed that catch basin and allowed that to drain into the bioretention basin.
Yeah, there we go.
And that kind of shows that little hatched area there, yep. On the bottom side, so stormwater will direct from that, from a portion of the drive-through into that bioretention for, you know, additional water quality improvements there, and, you know, enhance the stormwater.
And the bioretention basin is this one?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Would you
And
care-
what is, this is just turf?
It's
What is
just
it?
gonna be, yeah, it's just gonna be
Okay,
hydroseeded, yep.
okay.
Would you characterize that resource area as a bioretention zone?
Honestly, originally it
may have been. I mean, when I did the delineation, right, it's like you saw how it was being fed, and that was just essentially a lot of road runoff.
Because it's in the middle of the parking lot.
Yes,
Mhm.
so I mean, we're talking 100
That's
years.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You're
It's a form of
proposing
stormwater
adding a
protection.
bioretention zone to protect a bioretention zone. I didn't see that as necessary.
Yeah.
Maybe other commissioners think it is.
I have no problem with it, but anyway.
It's a, I mean, it's a small benefit, it is currently, I mean, I think that was originally designed as a stormwater basin, it just,
And
probably
the
just wasn't maintained.
And the
and-
bio aspect of it helps retain pollutants
Sure.
and catch sediment and
Sure.
so on. I mean, it's a,
It's connected to a legitimate larger wetland system under Route 2, so, you know, DEP criteria would have us view that as.
So the difference between a bioretention cell area and turf is the engineering underneath, correct?
Yeah, I mean, these terms weren't really around when that thing was made.
Oh, God,
so, no. So,
Okay.
yeah, that one, we're just kind of nitpicking.
Yeah, it's more just the media underneath, you know, rain gardens, which
Right,
can
correct.
be deeper, they're like, you know, a foot and a half or 18 inches
Yeah.
deep, so they're shallow.
Okay.
And that was, I think that was it, and the other one was just submitting the stormwater checklist signed, I think we submitted that to you all, so I think, pretty minor comments. The only question I had beyond this, I'm not sure if it was discussed in the first hearing, was that basin alone has a lot of vegetation, and it's pretty heavy in the summertime from views towards the Chick-fil-A, and one of the requests that the development lead here had for this location was, with the conservation assistance, would it be possible to kind of select pruning within that conservation, or within that stormwater basin?
Yeah, so
To allow for.
the areas he's talking about aren't in the wetland, or like, kind of, you know, the wetland, my finger, right, there's a steep bank, there's a lot of like tree of heaven, invasive trees, like Norway maple, kind of,
Mhm.
you know, 30, 40, 50 years old, growing up. So it's not in the wetland, it's in the basin.
That doesn't help all, I guess.
But,
I looked at the site, I got a couple questions, quick
Oh,
questions.
go ahead and finish your.
no, that's it, it's just, there's no real like trimming in the wetlands as far as I understand, right? There's a lot of phragmites.
So the purpose of the trimming is what, so people can see it from Route 2?
Yeah, just to provide some sort of view, because right now it's just a wall, and you lose all, once it's filled in, it's pretty much a vegetated screen there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Along there. It's
Now, a
just
bunch of
more
guys are thinking, you know, they're trying to drop like 200-year-old like red oaks.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
It's not the case.
so tell us again the purpose in the cutting. It's to establish the view, correct?
Correct, I mean, a lot of it's invasive.
So the restaurant would be visible
Correct.
to potential customers on the highway.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all set?
Yep.
Okay, Bob, you were saying?
Jesse, whose responsibility is it to maintain that area?
As far as the landscaping and whatnot there,
You talking about the vegetation along Route 2, or are you talking
Well,
about?
the retention basin that's there, right
Okay.
along the southeast portion that you pointed out.
yeah. I mean,
Well, that'll be that's on your on the
Correct.
property,
It's
right?
in
yeah,
plaza,
it's
yeah,
private
it's part of
property,
the-
so
it's
it
part
would
of
be,
Yeah, so it'll be,
That's part of your
It's
property?
part of the, well, it's part of the overall plaza, yeah, I mean, I believe
Yeah.
that stormwater basin was for, you know, when that plaza was built, was for that, stormwater controls for that overall plaza. It sits within, the overall plaza boundary, so it's on, I believe it's Twin Cities Plaza, which is now Crosspoint.
well, then that still begs Bob's question, whose job is to maintain it? Is the
The owners. Yeah.
Sorry?
It's the owners of the parcel,
Of-
Crosspoint.
of what, by parcel, you're talking about the proposed Chick-fil-A restaurant versus the entire plaza?
Correct, it's the same ownership for, even though this is its own, it's the same owners for both.
Got it, okay.
This and the overall plaza.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
yeah, I think they just lease all the.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
But this
got it.
was a former lease area.
Got it,
for the
okay.
plaza.
Regarding the nitty gritty.
Which will be a
commercial, you know, real estate ownership agreements.
I walked it pretty good, chucked through that area,
Mhm.
down from the catch basin all the way down in, and it's a mess.
Oh, I have no
It
doubt.
is.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of sediment settling
Mhm.
in. You know, I would agree to cut the trees and clean it all up. You know, it would look a lot nicer and probably, you know, flow a lot better.
Yeah,
This is only my opinion.
all right.
They weren't taking the roots out, they were gonna cut them, I think, would be
Yeah,
my
well-
impression, so I don't know how it would change the flow too much.
They could pull some of the trash out.
Yeah, that would be good.
A lot of garbage.
So,
over
so
there.
your proposal for those trees is just to thin those trees out?
Yeah.
By thinning, I mean pruning them versus cutting trees down?
Right, but it's not, we wouldn't just send someone in there to just start clearing, we'd obviously coordinate with whether it's a sidewalk,
Well,
with
that's,
our landscape architect, just kind of
If-
walk through and identify some of the invasives and some of the.
if we were to add a special condition to this,
Yeah.
Mhm.
requiring you to work with the
That's-
conservation agent
Yeah,
on that, yeah.
yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I'm gonna
Be
fire up a
considered vista
chainsaw.
viewing anyways, wouldn't it?
What's that?
Be considered vista viewing anyways, right?
Vista
viewing.
Yeah, I think it would really be one of those minor activities that are
Yeah.
technically exempt, but either way, it's, I don't know. I appreciate getting on the same page beforehand, so.
Are you all set addressing the DEP's comments?
Yeah, that was,
Yeah,
they were
yeah, they
pretty
have
right.
copies of the new materials and everything, yeah.
Yeah. No, I just want to make sure that you were effectively, you went over them effectively for yourselves. Okay. All right. Commission, any thoughts, comments, questions?
Yeah,
Problems?
I have a question. On some of the photos here, it looks like there's a decent amount of standing water, but I'm not sure where that is on the figure.
That it would be on the southeast corner, the bottom corner towards Jesse.
Yeah, over,
Right through there. It goes actually, I think it goes under Route 2 right there. You can't
Well,
see it, all you see is
are
a
these the
wall.
flags that you
Yeah.
put down, Doug?
Yep,
Yeah, so it continues around,
and I cut it out the property
and then it
line.
would cut down here, and then it goes all the way across the entire highway, and I think it turns into a much nicer,
Yeah, there's
little
a crossing, there's like an
cleaner.
old culvert,
Yeah.
which is really just a bunch of stacked granite, like kind of leafing stones.
Yeah,
Um,
and there's a weird like swale next to it over here too.
Yeah, that's like
Kind
a
of
just
a-
grassed
Yeah,
swell.
Troy, I'm sorry, I didn't get, you changing any of the pavement or?
I think that's Joey, by the way.
Yeah, that's,
Pavement internal?
Where the existing pavement is now, are you extending that in?
No, we're actually peeling, it might be a little confusing here,
Yeah,
but
this isn't a good
basically
one to
where
look
that
at,
thick dash line is, yeah.
Try to get it up to,
Because currently, the existing parking is right at the top of that slope.
Uh-huh.
We're pulling that back essentially 20 feet, so.
Oh, okay.
So that's gonna all be landscaped up on top of that.
Gotcha,
But, yeah.
okay.
yeah,
You could-
what
This
is
might be,
it?
so that thick dash line on the right side, top of that slope,
Yes.
that's basically where the existing curb line is today.
Mhm.
And we're pulling that all back
oh, okay.
to basically where that shaded rectangle box is, that's representing the edge of the drive-through.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
Oh, that'll dress it up better.
yeah, I mean, it's taken a considerable amount of parking, the issue, obviously with Chick-fil-A, you want parking, but part of their lease is the larger parking area northeast of this site, there's another 68 spaces there, and that'll be part of Chick-fil-A improvement
Okay.
on there, so they'll be utilizing that. but-
Parking everywhere there,
Yeah.
Bit of a walk.
They'll fill it up.
yeah.
You've mentioned they were gonna emphasize the drive-through also, right? As part of as the business, I thought it was largely focusing on the drive-through.
Correct.
Yeah, that was part of the,
Presentation.
yeah.
Yeah, and we just filed with the planning board too because the drive-through requires site plan approval, so I think we're in front of them next month.
Sounds like you have plenty of parking, is my point.
Yeah, oh, yes,
Correct.
yeah, so
Right.
the required amount, not that it's, but it's about 50, I think, 2 parks required for this use. There's 18 here, and there's 68 on the off-street side. But overall, the overall plaza is in compliance, even with the removal of 30-plus spaces here on this parcel.
Troy, will this be an?
His name is, his name isn't Troy. Troy was the guy with the last hearing.
Yeah, Joey, close.
Oh, Joey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Will this be the normal employees out in the
Correct.
road and taking orders? And okay, that's.
Yeah, essentially, that's what those 2 canopies are for. During their peak times, they'll have team members out there taking orders, it gets them out of the inclement weather. Those are, they do have heaters in there during the winter time, and there are some fans in the summertime.
They do a good job. It flows
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
That I've seen. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Thoughts, comments, questions? Nothing? Okay. And I assume nobody from the public has any thoughts, comments, questions? Okay. With that done, I'll go entertain a motion to close this portion, the public portion of the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mike. For a second?
I can
Bob,
second.
thank you.
And on the vote, how do you vote, Mike?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Steph?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And Chuck?
And aye. All right. So it sounds like the only special condition we're gonna add is the one about, before they do any clearing, to contact Jesse, contact the agents, go over that plan, if you can be on site,
Yep.
certainly. I might wanna just say, be on site when they start or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think of, so I was gonna say standard order of conditions. I don't necessarily think that we need the revised ones with this.
Not
But-
the special conditions, we don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just standard.
yeah, just standard plus the one special condition that the conservation agent be notified before any selective trimming adjacent to that wetland takes place.
Yeah, and if you can, please be on site,
Yeah,
for part of that anyway.
yeah, absolutely.
For the whole thing.
Adjacent or within that wetland.
Okay,
Yeah.
adjacent or within.
Yeah. Get that, okay.
So we don't exclude them from that.
Correct. Go
Smart.
So with that then, I'll entertain a motion to approve the NOI for the new proposed Chick-fil-A, as described, and with our standard order conditions, and then the special condition regarding the tree trimming.
I'll make this.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mike.
And on that vote, Bob,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All right. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks
for
very
coming in,
Thanks
guys.
for coming in, appreciate
People up
it.
there, we're ready to submit orders now, so.
You know, they're
Hey, you want a copy of the latest plans with the?
Do I have, is it the ones that you emailed to me?
Yeah.
I think I have them here. I don't
I don't
need
need
this
this
kind of
kind
plan.
of plan.
Yeah.
In the trash.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I appreciate it, yeah, I'm all set.
All right.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your evening.
Yeah. Just like CC me on whenever you send the.
Yeah,
conditions.
I'll email it out. Do you want me to mail it over to the office?
Yeah, mail it over to
Okay.
the applicant actually.
Okay, yeah.
So,
I'll confirm with you when
Yeah,
I email
yeah,
it out.
sure.
We'll just do it that way.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Tom.
All right, moving on the regular meeting. Under enforcement, 76 Weather Vane Drive, so no word on that one, huh?
Yeah, so no word. I've gone by a number of times and tried to meet with the homeowner. Like we've talked about, there's a little bit of a language barrier.
Yeah.
The wife is always home, so I'm hoping that I can get there with Jose from the Board of Health and hopefully use him to at least, translate a little bit and explain. And I know that they received our enforcement order because I got the green slip back for, certified mail receipt. And the way that I was thinking of handling it is try to get a hold of her sooner rather than later, explain that we need to see some sort of progress. And then as long as they're starting to address it, I don't mind, if it takes them time to get everything figured out, but we need to see that they're actually, listening to us.
Acknowledging the receipt of the letter.
Exactly, yeah. So I think that I'll try to get a hold of them sooner rather than later, and then I'll let you guys know at the next meeting whether
Okay.
they've started making any improvements there or not.
Any comments or questions for Jesse? No, okay. Yeah, well, good luck with it. Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Under meeting minutes, so I wasn't here for the last meeting, so I did look at, I had no basis with which to, were the minutes on the,
Yes.
oh, they were on the drive, okay.
Made some minor
Did
changes
you?
I
Okay.
made, so
Okay.
Yeah.
deleted a little part of
Anybody else have a
Yeah.
chance to look at them, review them, or edit them, or anything?
that. No, I think they were pretty well done,
Okay,
Okay,
like the format.
all right.
good.
All right, do you wanna,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept those minutes as edited on the Google Drive.
what do you say?
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, and on that vote, Mike,
Aye.
Nick, Steph,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
I'll recuse himself, I wasn't here.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Good catch. All right.
All right, moving on, under commissioner comments, beaver complaints from Lincoln Street, Wildflower Street. So I actually printed up, we were all in the commission when this went down. Just to refresh our memory, Bob, myself, and Rich had voted nay, and everybody else voted in favor of that. Speaking for myself, I know that I voted against it, because I didn't feel it was the city's place to be paying for this solution on private property, even though the city owns basically both sides of it.
Yeah,
Still
it's a
private property, so-
weird sort of setup
So,
there.
is there an update on, that you have for us, Jesse?
Yeah, so after that vote had been accepted, that was September of 2024, so last year. And at that time, DPW said that they would decline to do any maintenance or pay for the maintenance of it. So nothing ended up ever happening with it. Which I am a little confused as to why that ever happened, because the maintenance on these is incredibly minimal. It essentially consists of going out, I mean, you wanna check it twice a year, and removing debris if there is any. If they work as they're intended to, there will be very minimal debris. So now I re-raised this to some of the people over at DPW. This time.
This
they-
is because there's.
Yeah, because
flooding
we're
here.
getting a lot of complaints from people that live over on Wildflower, really, because they are on, so it's, and even I can pull it up on we'll pull it up here real quick, so we
It
can,
gets wet over there.
yeah, it definitely gets wet over
It's a
there.
big area in there.
Yeah, well, it's crazy, it's like they filled some stuff in and they built a house on it, and now they have all these crazy unforeseeable problems.
Who could have
Unforeseeable?
Yeah, who could have seen this coming?
Let's see. I wish that that's how I could handle these phone calls. I think that this is around where it is. Yeah, so there's
Yeah, right there you
a
go.
dam right over here. And then the real issue is over here, where you can see that, and this is not not super accurately mapped, I think that there's a little bit more distance, but the water level, when you look at it from this property, you can see that there's a dam pretty much running all along this little strip right here. And the water level back here is probably, at this point, like 6 or 8 inches higher. So as we keep getting rain and that keeps getting higher, it's encroaching further and further upon the yards of these homes, which were built right next to a massive swamp.
Again.
Unforeseeable issues.
Right?
Totally.
I have no comment.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yes. So, and as it stands right now, that vote was 8 months ago, so I wasn't going to go off of that and say, let's go ahead and let's install a flow device. I would need to check with,
You
do you have something?
Until the end of the fiscal year to do so.
Yes, you're right.
That is the vote.
Yes, yeah. I mean, well, at this point, I would
No,
need to
we're
reach
voting.
back out
Which
to
is,
the,
what, June 30th? End of the fiscal year?
yeah, I think it is June
Okay.
30th. And either way, that was a quote from 8 months ago. So, I mean, I'm happy to get in contact with that company. I know that a lot of things have gotten more expensive over the last 8 months. So I think that I'm going to plan on, trying to talk to them, seeing what we have in our budget.
Who, them being?
I think it's
Solutions?
Beaver Solutions.
Okay, the
yes.
company, okay.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. So I'll touch base with them, see how much it would cost, see how much money we do have. In the meantime, these people are calling every day, and there is a significant amount
The
of,
people on Wildflower?
yeah, a lot of residents from
Are
Wildflower.
they calling you?
They've mostly been calling Robert Tossi, who's the city councilman who kind of represents that area of the city.
Right.
And then calling other people at City Hall and, a lot of phone calls. In the meantime, I think that we could authorize, a dam breakage. I don't think we need anyone to, I would be more in favor of doing a dam breakage to try and be a short-term solution rather than, they're probably gonna go ahead and end up trying to do a removal, which is pretty expensive and, it's a problem that recurs year after year, even if you do removals. So those were my
Removal
thoughts.
The dam or the beavers?
Removing the beavers.
Beavers, okay.
Yeah.
So those were my thoughts on the matter.
Okay.
Yes.
Jesse, whose property is the dam on?
Dam is on private property, isn't it? I believe.
Yes.
The dam is,
I think it
it's
says on-
questionable.
Since the dam itself is located on the private parcel of 254 Lincoln Street, Mr. Kremp has previously advised the owners of this property that it is a private matter which they are free to address.
You said that was 254?
So it says it was since at 254 Lincoln Street.
Let me just pull it up and see what the,
My
See what it
reason
actually
for
looks
objecting
like.
was a little bit different than yours, Chuck.
How dare you?
It was just slightly different.
Okay.
It was private property. I didn't like this commission needing to pay for it. That would set a precedent
Hmm.
for us to need to pay for flooding on controls on
That's
many
right.
properties.
That's
no, I agree
Why
with that.
just this
Yeah.
one? We've approved one near the trailer park up off of Central Street for the folks to go in and deal with the beavers, at least they contacted us and so. But that wasn't paid by us.
Yeah, right.
So
Mhm.
it was, and DPW has paid for beaver removals in the past. I thought DPW should shoulder the cost,
Yeah.
not this commission.
And I disagreed because, because we can afford it, it makes a difference, and this is a reasonable way to serve our community with that budget. Also, I don't anticipate like huge amounts of beaver issues, like busting the door down. I mean, maybe I'm naive.
Don't tell
on-
them.
Maybe
Once,
I'm-
once they know we're not gonna trap them, yeah, they'll all be
Yeah.
coming in.
That's not how this works.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I don't want to say no to this because of a pretend issue that we may not
A
have.
potential issue.
Yes,
Sure.
And I wouldn't say no to it because the vote passed last time,
yeah.
even though I voted no.
Correct,
It
yes.
passed.
Right, we're dealing with a
So
pass,
now we're
so
behind
now we're, right.
Yeah.
May
I was just
may
clarifying why.
Comment too?
Yeah, please go ahead, Mike.
All set?
Yeah.
So there also is the issue where the septic, the sewer line coming through, the risers were not built up properly, so when the flooding occurs, they are taking water into the treatment, the pipes that go to the treatment center. We're paying to have that water treated when we shouldn't. So I would think that the DPW would want to correct their error in that, get those risers up and protect them for the future.
That's a fair statement. Yes, Jesse, I would go ahead and contact Beaver Solutions, reach back out to the TPW. See if there's some way we can help these folks.
Are we fine with issuing a temporary dam or an emergency dam breakage or relocation?
Call it a
of those
breach.
permits?
Call it a
Dam
breach.
breach, that's what it is.
May
That's
I?
the word I can't think of.
I-
Yes, yeah.
I think you should call Mass Wildlife, only because there are certain times of the
Mhm.
year where the young beaver are,
Good one.
Yeah.
in jeopardy.
Absolutely.
We should probably right about now,
So as
actually.
soon, yeah,
Probably
it
is
should be
right
right about now. So
So-
as soon as that is over.
It's when you need to do the work.
Right,
No,
unfortunately.
that's a great point, I'll definitely.
Most
I'll definitely
effective.
talk to them. Yeah.
I'd rather you stuck with the current plan. You call them, if they're available, they'll get in and do the work. There won't be any delay.
Won't have to breach
I
it.
wouldn't call it
Okay.
an emergency to breach
Sure.
it and break
Okay.
it up.
Sure.
The idea of putting it there is the beavers get to stay and they don't lose their homes. So
Yeah,
Right.
the water
And the babies
level
don't.
just goes
Okay.
down. So proceed, but get it done in the fiscal year or you do.
Yeah, then we have to do everything all over
Right,
again.
you get
Okay.
2,000.
All right, cool.
All right.
Well, I wanted to mention that at a meeting, being the new agent, before I go and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come
Felt
on.
like a good idea.
Come on.
Hold on a second. Bob?
Who's doing the breaching?
Nobody's doing the breaching. He's gonna reach out to
Without
the
breaching.
Beaver Solutions and the DPW first.
Okay.
There will be no breaching at this point.
You gonna volunteer?
No.
DPW said they'll maintain,
They did,
they'll
yes.
take that responsibility. You've got money from this budget, there should
Yeah.
be plenty in there to do this.
Great.
Did you have something?
I just wanted to point out, it's a good time in the fiscal year to spend the budget.
Before it goes away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
otherwise you lose it.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
This is an opportunity to use it, so
Fair enough.
Yeah.
might as well.
No, I like that.
All
On
right.
that topic, I'm gonna have your money for you.
And
Oh,
Bob
thanks.
again.
I'm just
I've been
worried, who, do we need permission to do that from the landowner? This is private property, right?
I think if we do, I can very easily.
Yeah, they want us.
They're the-
I've been
They want us
talking-
to
They're the
do
ones
this.
complaining about it.
Well, he's actually, so, Mr. Hatstat here is actually not really being adversely impacted. So this flows out here, and so the the water is being pushed back and the higher level is on this. That's why the complaints are coming from Wildflower. It's still flowing through at a slower rate and getting taken away from his property by the stream that runs here.
You should get a written permission.
Oh, no, absolutely, yeah. I'm just making, I don't know, getting all the facts out there.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
that's fine.
I'm just trying to steer us away from any litigation or any problems by doing anything
Yeah.
like this. This is private property.
I have him in my
If they wanna
cell
call
phone,
somebody,
so
they
it'll
should
be
be
very
calling that
easy
guy.
to- Yeah.
No, understood, understood. All right, good, well, good luck.
Yes, thank you.
Keep us posted,
I will.
it'll be interesting. And where's my agenda, this is my agenda. So we're all set with that, all right? Okay. All right, so, next one. Even though it says 1525 Main Street, it's actually 1525 Central Street, which begs the question, should we even be discussing it if it was mislabeled in the public notice? Even though
Probably not,
even though there is no 1525 Main Street in the city of
but
Leominster.
still, it is misleading.
Yeah.
But what was it, just to?
I think that with the, so what this is you guys actually took a vote back in 2022 to issue an order of conditions to this.
It's the LKQ property on Central Street.
Yeah, the LKQ property, they were under
Oh,
a
yeah.
DEP mandate to improve their situation there. Apparently, they never, so them and DEP never received the order of conditions, even though the vote was taken. I have the, can look at the, yeah. Can look at the minutes here, at least, and if we're, taking these at face value. The NOI was granted with boilerplate, standard conditions, and then special conditions that you guys have.
Yeah.
And so that was, motion was made, seconded, motion passed.
I remember distinctly.
They just never received an order of conditions, and now that's kind of the last thing that they're waiting on. They had to go through much higher authorities than this commission.
So they actually want to start doing things and then
Yes.
they don't have the order conditions?
That's exactly what happened.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So what do we/you need to do at this point?
I think that I typed up the order of conditions. I think I just need signatures on it.
Okay.
And the way that would work is.
Do you have that here tonight?
I do have that
Okay,
here tonight.
all right.
That's
And the thing there is, if an order of conditions isn't granted within 21 days of the closing of a public hearing, then technically they can reach out to the state and go through that method, but I
They
guess
never-
they just never
they
did.
did.
So now I think that we're, within our right to just get that over to them, and then it's taken
So
care
will
of.
the clock start ticking tonight? And give them 3 years?
Well, the clock started ticking back in 2022, where,
Well, that begs the question, so they're gonna need to extend it at some point this year.
but it was never issued.
Well,
So how did the clock start?
yeah, so when does the clock
The
start?
clock starts when you close a public hearing. From when you close a public hearing, you have 21 days to issue an order of conditions.
True, and it wasn't issued. So
If it's
that-
not issued, then that gives them the recourse if they can go to the state and they can say,
Yeah,
hey.
yeah, no,
we
you
have-
said that, but we're still trying to figure out, so when does that order expire? Does it expire this year, or is it gonna expire 3 years from now?
The order was never, so the date of issuance on that order would be,
Will be.
probably Thursday, when I can
Will
get
be
it mailed
when
out.
we
to
sign
DEP.
it.
Yeah, so it'll be when you sign.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
all right,
3
okay.
years from now.
Yeah.
So 3 years from now?
Yes.
Okay, oh, that's what I'm getting at, okay.
This is old business, I don't think you need to hold it to another meeting.
What do you mean?
You had talked about whether, Main Street.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right, yeah, exactly, yeah. All right, so we'll sign that tonight and we'll get them going.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
good. All right, so moving on, nothing under request for a certificate of compliance. And so extension permits for order conditions for 2 Lake Samoset numbers. Michael, do you want to recuse yourself?
Yes,
We need to?
I will recuse
Okay.
myself.
So I'll just read into the record. Extension permit for order conditions Lake Samoset, DEP number 199-1009. And another one for Lake Samoset, DEP number 199-0818.
Yes.
What's happening?
So I mentioned at the last meeting that we had that I am currently trying to pull together all the paperwork on all the filings that exist for this, Lake Samoset over there and get them under one filing. I'm having DEP look into everything that they have and compile it and get that to me so that we can take that on. In the meantime, 1009 is an aquatic control application notice of intent. That was originally filed in March of 2015 by Judy Russo, who is still one of the members of the association over there. And so it's for, chemical application of taking care of aquatic nuisance.
Michael, that was in that one bay there, right? Was it just
No,
one
no,
bay?
it's a different, no, it's
Okay,
for the whole, it's for the whole lake.
Thank you, okay.
That's for what, Daiquat and,
Yeah, it was Daiquat.
2,4.
No, there's no 240, I don't think. we have
2,4-D is
240.
insecticide anyway.
I don't think there's any 240 in there.
Was that the other?
I think it's just Dickwat.
Is that the
I
other?
think that one is just Dickwat, but the other one,
The other one
0818, was an aquatic management program, which is essentially just a different way of saying the same thing, that was filed all the way back in 2006.
Ooh.
So these both exist
Oh.
for chemical application of different things within the lake, which is part of the reason that we're trying to get it all under one filing, so that
Yeah.
you can actually look at it and say, okay, step A through Z, this is everything that we're doing.
Thank you.
Yes. In the meantime, they're just looking to have these extended because they're set to expire, I believe, at the end of June.
Okay.
So they just want to get these extended so that nothing lapses and that they can continue treating the lake as it's been done for, the last decade plus.
Okay.
And then, in the meantime, hopefully we can get things a little bit.
And off to the side, you'll be,
Yeah,
Going on.
I'm working with DEP, I've been talking to Brianna about it.
Okay.
So we're trying to get everything together.
so.
And what is the chemical in 0818, do you know?
Yeah.
Is that the 248?
I'm not sure, I can go grab the, I don't have any digital files, but I have the paper files.
Because if I'm correct, I believe that milfoil is what they're most concerned with.
Mhm.
And the Dickwat is the only application that I can remember over the last few years.
Is Dickwat for a milfoil?
Dickwat is very effective against milfoil.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I can go grab those, go grab the paper files.
We should, as an aside, so we have our potential new member here, so she's sitting and listening, so we can,
Oh, yeah.
we can chat with her in a few minutes. Sorry, I didn't mean to
That's fun and exciting. I
Yeah,
was
good for
wondering
you.
what you were here for.
throw you under the bus.
That used to be you.
Yeah, yep. Long time ago, my position just lapsed and I was reaffirmed, which I wasn't here like last week, but what is it, 3 years?
yeah, did you get sworn in?
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah, I got sworn in again
They
today.
went back to sit, I don't think I got sworn in.
So this is the Dickwat one. That one's fairly simple. This one is a mess of about a billion unorganized things. This is.
By the way,
what
I take back my statement, I was having a bad memory, I was saying 2,4-D is an insecticide, it's not, it's an herbicide. Sorry,
Okay.
that was my bad.
I mean, really, all that I can make heads or tails of in here is this is a license to apply chemicals for control of nuisance aquatic vegetation. So that's what I was referring to, and this is the older one, not the Dickwat one, that is the more recent one.
But they want to extend, they want to,
Well, is all that they've been doing, it's only the Dickwat application?
well, I'm not on the association, but I
He's
believe so.
recused.
Yeah, I have.
But he can answer,
I think you can answer
questions.
questions as a
Right.
butter, you're not
He's
giving,
gonna-
you're not
he's
giving
gonna
a take on it, you know?
Right.
No,
Yeah, so help us.
It's just a member of the public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
should I sit over there?
So,
So do we have the original order of conditions right there?
The Mass DEP.
what, the old one?
The reason I
Yeah, the original,
asked
that
about
we're
the,
extending.
Or extending both of them, are
Yeah.
That's what they requested of me,
we? Yeah.
and
Question is
didn't have a
what the
ton of
comments.
information, unfortunately.
So have we been extending, the original one, have we been extending that every 3 years?
That's
Yeah.
what I assumed, that's
Okay.
what
I don't
they,
remember,
Good.
it hasn't been renewed since,
Honestly,
I'd like to see a copy of what we're extending, just so we have a record of it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Seems reasonable.
would it be possible to just continue this to the next hearing, just so?
I am more than fine with that,
Okay,
Yes.
but that's not gonna keep them from doing anything?
not as far as I'm aware of.
Okay, all right,
At least not till the end of June,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah,
if that's when the 3 years ended.
yeah.
yeah,
Coming quick.
Yeah, so if you just
it is, yeah.
round up your paperwork, and if you just so we'll know what 0818 involved.
Yeah.
We're pretty familiar with the newer one.
Yeah,
But the old one, 2006,
Yeah, if they don't need an extension on that one, that would make the, combining all the files.
It'd make everything a lot
Just
easier.
one less.
Yes, absolutely, I hope that's the case.
Okay.
all right, so we'll just continue this portion of
Yeah.
the agenda until whenever the next meeting is, we'll get to that in a
So
second.
should I wait for my abutter comments until that meeting, or would you like to consider them now?
No, you can consider that.
Yeah, I mean, we're having a discussion on it.
Yeah, we're having a discussion, yeah, go ahead.
So,
Go for it.
did you bring up that picture I sent you? So, basically,
This one?
yeah, if I could.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm James Michael Siki. I reside at 270 Hill Street, and, no, not the snake.
there's
That was in
another
my toolbox today.
That's kinda cool.
That's what I was like, this one?
What is
No,
that?
no, that,
What kind
it
of
was
snake?
Google Maps.
I have that from you as
Do I know what
well.
kind of snake that is?
Yeah, it's a milk snake. It's a corn snake.
Oh, interesting, cool.
I stepped over him in the field the other day, and then this morning, this afternoon, I was going in to get some tools, and he was sitting on my toolbox.
Nice.
Follow you home.
And it was a 6-footer.
It's supposed to be
Yeah.
good luck, right?
Yeah. Huh? They're harmless, though. I
Oh, yeah.
picked them up and moved them out.
So go ahead.
Okay, so, I think I better introduce myself. I'm James Michael Siki, reside at 270 Hill Street in Leominster. I also have a property at 200 Lakeshore Drive on Lake Samoset. Just want to talk a little bit about a concern over any chemical application of the lake. First of all, the association, I believe, has done a very, very good job being a steward of the lake over the period of years that they've been there. There's a deep concern there. It's a lovely little quiet community, and they have the best interests of the lake, I'm sure, in their heart. I mean, there's some things that are missed, but that's okay. They're doing it for the right reasons. What the troubling part is that, if I could
Please,
stand,
yeah.
the Lake Owners Association owns a 25-foot buffer area all the way around this lake. Therefore, they control access to the waterfront. They raise their money from dues for beaches and homeowner dues to do the treatment and that stuff. Many people that aren't involved in the Lake Shore Association do in fact donate, because to help keep the lake as clean as possible. The issue in my mind that I'm most concerned at is that on this part of the lake, which is known as the peninsula, is not part of the ownership of the Lake Association. So it's exempt. They don't have any say in what is done, which is fine. I think everybody is fine with that there. But they also don't get the pre-notifications of when these weed treatments are happening. And that's my concern, that many of the people out here are summer residents. When the Lake Association makes notification, they do it either on their Facebook page, which is only updated by one person, and not a lot of people, quite frankly, go out to it because it doesn't change. It's just static. And they have emails of anyone who is a member of the association. But a number of houses down here at the bottom have changed hands over the last year. Some houses in here have changed hands. And there are 10 families that live out here that really don't get proper notification that the treatment is happening. They might come down for the weekend and the water is brown. I mean, it's performing what it's supposed to perform. And there are signs, 8.5 by 11 paper signs out here. But these people are kind of, they're exposed to it because they just don't get proper, I don't think they get proper notification. There might be something on a tree out here, but they come down on the weekend, they all have shallow wells. This is where my property is, and I have a 400-foot well. I'm not affected by it, but I do test the water twice a year anyways. Folks along here, some of them, at least 2 cabins, pump directly from the lake. So they are,
For their drinking water?
I doubt that they drink it.
Oh, okay.
But they're washing
You-
dishes in it, they're
right,
washing their hands in
Still
it.
contact.
They might be feeding, giving it to their pets, I don't know.
Got it.
But it's water coming in the house. And then the preponderance of those people have either point wells or very shallow old wells that are right at the lake level.
Mhm.
So I think anything that the commission does, it would be good if the Lake Owners Association could do a notice to abutters, there's houses down here as well, so that they know that this is coming up in June, we're going to be using this chemical. The rule, what chemical is it, so that they can keep an eye on it, make sure that they're not utilizing the water during a safe period.
Mhm.
And just basically give them a little education on what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, and, you know, what to expect.
Okay.
That's all.
I think those are perfectly good concerns, Mike, I appreciate you bringing those up. What I might suggest, just so it's on record, could you put that in a letter
Yes, of course.
and send that to Jesse?
Uh-huh.
Might want to CC the homeowners association, let them know your concerns.
Are we doing this because we want
We're not-
that to be a condition?
We're not doing
Yeah,
anything
we don't
yet, we're not doing
have-
anything yet.
Right, but is our involvement so that it can be a condition on anything that's approved? Because I mean, I agree that these people should be on the email list, they should be notified,
Yeah.
like, I don't,
If there's already an order of conditions out there though, then our time to add conditions is
Yes.
kind of coming
Yeah.
on.
We could easily add a requirement.
It is a special condition.
Okay.
Such as-
yeah, that seems reasonable, I just
Yeah.
wanna understand, like, our role.
It may already be in the plan, too.
I don't believe it is.
We could use
But it
specifically
should
where exactly they need to notify.
I'm sorry?
We need a specific description of where they need to notify.
And,
They can't just say abutters or where.
right.
Well, but if you give a list,
Well, we'd go out and look at it in a butters list like we would if it was a brand new order of conditions there. It's a
We can ask them to do
100-foot
that.
circle and you can get that off the GIS.
And that'll get everyone who's.
I mean, I know.
Well,
I know
it'll-
it'll get everybody who's currently listed, it's.
Well, it'll get their addresses, but see, you said since some of them are summer residents, if that letter goes out when they're not living there, will they ever get it?
The
So-
the property card,
Okay.
the property card has their permanent address.
Perfect, yeah, okay, perfect, yep, all right, yeah. Yeah, so if you can put that in writing and send it to Jesse and see, I don't know, I suppose CC the homeowners association, right?
I mean, yeah, you can,
Yeah.
I'm.
Yeah, I'm already gonna have to go back and forth with them on
Oh,
all
well,
the
yeah,
other stuff
okay.
we're doing,
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
So you can tell them that the commission is considering such a condition.
correct,
Yeah,
correct, yeah,
I would think that they wouldn't have any,
yeah,
any.
just some more,
that'd be kind of a weird, one to.
Push back on.
Yeah. They're real
Yeah.
bone to pick
Actually,
with that.
we're anti-postage, we don't send letters.
We don't support the post office.
Is there, do they have to,
I don't know,
I wonder if the plan includes a record of applications shared with the Department of Agriculture? Because for farms, what they do is you have to maintain a record of any sort of herbicide or pesticide applied, and you have to submit that to the MDR, Massachusetts Department of Agriculture, by May the following year.
I think it would go to DEP or anything, because they
Okay.
have an aquatic management program.
Sure, but there's probably
So I
some
would
sort of
assume-
I
requirement.
mean, if there's shallow wells,
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
surprised BOH isn't,
yeah, right.
right.
isn't involved
Yeah.
in.
They very well might be. This has been a real, I certainly do not have all the information. This was basically, go
I
figure
feel
it out.
that.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, Michael, thank you for bringing that up, appreciate it, yeah, if you send us that letter, and, yeah, so I guess, so we will then, are we, do we need to vote to motion to continue these to?
No, we can just leave them
Oh,
on the
just,
agenda.
okay, yeah, put them on the agenda for
We'll
next
just leave
meeting,
them on there, it's easy.
all right.
Not a hearing.
I just got a quick
Yes.
question, because I'm a legal guy. Do you know of any complaints of any of those butters on that part? That's
I do,
an
but I
ongoing
would prefer
dispute?
that they, you know, that if we had an open session, they would probably come in.
Okay. All right, good. It was a good question. All right, good, so we'll, yeah,
Before
yes,
we
ma'am.
move on, I have a question that's unrelated to this, but just I wanted to touch on it before we go to next meeting,
Yeah.
if that's where we are.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a couple
Can I
other
quick-
things as well.
One thing first, Mike might want.
Oh, yeah, Mike, want to bring yourself back in the
Oh,
meeting?
and- hi, I'm back.
Hi.
Welcome,
Unrecused.
welcome.
Michael,
I'm
not-
unrecused.
Michael
Commissioner,
Steve Carroll,
Mike.
unrecused. Steph, I'll get to you, one other thing, so we're all set with that one. So I want to make sure that we talk about the litter cleanup this weekend, that wasn't what you were gonna say?
Nope.
Okay, So, do you wanna fill us in is it you?
We just merely scheduled, we didn't have
Yeah.
a place or
Okay.
anything else.
So I went to Market Basket.
I did
and
too.
I thought it looked pretty clean. Was I looking in the same
It wasn't
location as you,
bad as-
or?
It wasn't as much as last year.
Yeah,
It would be, not too long a cleanup, maybe
Yeah.
an hour.
I just don't wanna send, I don't know, so how many people are planning on?
What
no
time
pressure
are we
at all?
doing this?
I think we had said
We're talking
around
9
9 or,
o'clock.
yeah, 9 in the
I
morning,
could go.
Yeah, I could do 9 to 10.
which works for me.
Yeah, I can get there in that timeframe, I can't, cause I've got my
Yeah,
monthly water quality.
Yeah,
supplement,
you're
so I
testing,
can-
right?
So,
Yeah.
I can get there a little after 9,
yeah.
so,
That might work.
yeah. Now,
Works for
It's
me.
it's a nice spot to clean.
Yeah,
It is.
yes, all right, so,
It's
we-
nice and
Last
easy
year I
meeting
was
up
getting my
there.
hair done.
Yeah.
so where, I didn't go last year, where do we meet?
If you're looking at the front of Market Basket,
Yeah.
it's on the left side.
On the left, just on the side of the building?
Yeah, drive over by the lake.
There's a nice,
By the brook.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll
there's
find
there's
it
a
up and
parking
down.
area there that's a lot less crowded. than
yeah,
the
I
rest
know
of
what you mean, yeah,
the-
okay, all right, so meet there as 9 o'clock or as close to 9 o'clock as.
So how many, I just want a head count so I know how much stuff to grab from, okay, so we got everybody.
Everybody, wow,
It's my
Full
understanding
house.
too, Jesse, talking with the Market Basket managers, they have to go out occasionally to clean it too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've seen them there doing, they do a very good job working over there.
Last year, the agent coordinated with them.
Oh,
So
okay.
they knew we're there, we should tell them we're gonna come and
Yeah.
work on this. So
Yeah.
if you could do
I can do that
contact,
by this
that'd be
weekend.
great.
Okay.
Yeah. I can fit that into my
You know the
incredibly
manager,
busy
don't you?
schedule.
Yeah, I can ask the manager if he wants to donate water and with the
How
apples.
about you just tell them we're gonna go do the
Sushi.
work?
Okay.
and if,
Yeah.
and
I think we already,
if he
Melissa
if he has
can
any extra pizzas, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
sushi too, please.
be here.
You see where it was going, I tried to stop that there, and it didn't get there.
If anyone, whoever wants a shirt, just email me with what shirt size you want, and I'll be happy
Okay.
to grab one
Okay.
for you.
Sounds
9
good,
o'clock Saturday.
sounds good,
Okay.
good,
9 o'clock.
Steph, you had something?
Yeah, I just happened to be walking down Wildflower the other day, and 16 Wildflower, the one that's like actually closest to that
Yeah,
flooding
pretty
issue,
close.
unrelated to the flooding.
Sure.
I'm not sure the drainage off the new building is to spec with,
This is that new place on the left?
uh-huh.
Okay.
The one that was like 10 feet from the wetland, that there was a lot of conversation about how that drainage
The
should,
one that got appealed,
the one that was appealed, yes.
that we lost the appeal.
That we lost the appeal. I couldn't go back, I couldn't find the CAD drawing that had the final specs on it for how that drainage was supposed to be managed. But
Yeah.
the way I remember it, I don't think it is exactly as it
Yeah.
was on that plan. I was wondering if you could dig those up, maybe take a walk by.
Sure.
It was 16
give me-
Wildflower?
Give me your
What,
opinion.
what,
Yeah,
what, do
16
you have a
Wildflower.
specific concern with, because
The drainage.
as I recall,
Well, okay.
they
so
were
let me
gonna, they were gonna,
describe-
they were gonna have everything drain away from the street, back, like, around the house and down to the wetland versus having it all run in the street, because as I recall, that was one of the big concerns, was having all this,
The driveway was going in the street.
was it the driveway?
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
oh,
Yeah, I don't think that's happening
No,
either.
okay.
It dips down to the house, and then the drainage from the roof comes out. There's one that goes like sort of up gradient towards the road, but it
Mhm.
doesn't get far enough up gradient
Mhm.
to not just be draining right back down to the house.
Mhm.
And then the other one just sort of shoots off at the wetland.
Do you know when they received, so it sounds like they got a superseding order of conditions
Mhm.
through like
It was
DEP. Do you know,
loud.
do you know when they got that?
It was,
Not that long ago.
I mean, if they're done with
I would say
Construction
early last year.
Yeah, I mean, if they've completed construction, then they should have an as-built.
Well, they've definitely completed construction.
Yeah.
And so they should, I'll look into all that, I'm just thinking out loud, I'll, see if I can get them to go for a certificate of compliance as well. And then, I mean, either way, they apply for an order of conditions, so like, we have the authority to go on their property
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
inspect it.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, just take a look.
Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing it to my attention,
Mhm.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
we've talked before about how I think one thing the commission we could do better at, well, meaning the agent, is
Yes.
following up, looking at ones, cases we've approved, going back there to see if.
See
what
if
the
they're actually
conditions were-
doing-
Were actually done, 'cause we've,
Yes.
that hasn't really been done
Yeah.
much in
Yeah.
the last few, 10 years or however you want.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think this would be a good
And this would be
candidate
a
for
good
that,
one to start.
cause
Yeah.
yeah, they still have like
Yeah,
this
why
seven-
start on an easy one? You know?
But that was part of the point of getting that Excel list of all the ones.
Yeah,
and when-
absolutely.
When they were approved, now you know it's
Yeah.
on your list to go check each
Yeah.
of those one by one,
Yeah,
starting here.
All right.
16 Wildflower.
16 Wildflower.
Yeah.
Cool, all right. Thanks for the anonymous
I've
tip.
already got a reason to go over there, so it's perfect.
Yeah, it's
All right.
perfect.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Oh, I have one other thing.
Oh, sorry.
And it's gonna be quick. This is more of like okay, I'll just get the full story. So David Erickson called me, he lives at 202 Hill Street.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one, so he manages that, or he doesn't manage, but he helps us out with that Bootel conservation area, cutting back a lot of brush. He also owns a huge parcel out there. And he said
What was the
that
name again?
his name is David Erickson.
Thank you.
Sure. So a few years ago, he said, and he wasn't sure exactly when, but basically the commission and the fire chief of Leominster had signed off on giving him an agricultural burning permit, which essentially allows them to, they still have to go to the fire department the day of and get approved to burn, but they're able to burn during periods of, low drought, where the fire department still has to find it safe that day. But generally speaking, they are an agricultural burner, so they can ignore some of the rules that, if it's a drought and you want to go have a fire in your backyard and cook hot dogs on it, you can't do that. But him, with an agricultural burning permit, as long as the fire chief still signed off on it, would be able to burn on that day for agricultural purposes. So he's hoping to get a new one issued, because I guess he lost the last one, or I couldn't find the original one that was issued, so he was looking for permission from us and the fire chief to get an agricultural burning permit.
And why do we need to approve this? This is.
I don't know. I'm more so mentioning
This is-
it and seeing if
I-
anyone has any objections, and then I'm gonna talk to the fire chief.
Well, he's talking about burning things from his own property at 202 Hill Street?
He's talking about
No,
burning
no.
things from,
At Bootel.
yeah,
At Bootel.
Yeah.
yes.
No, I would not personally vote for that. That's,
Well, he isn't, he's talking about
Necessary.
burning, his
He's
property
talking
abuts
about,
it.
he has a huge property abutting it that he manages, and then he also cleans up the front of that and like
So-
in the little parking area there, is what he told me.
okay, that's a kind of unofficial cleanup.
Absolutely, yeah.
Trail steward.
That shouldn't, I don't think that should have any bearing on this. Essentially what I'm asking is, he's asking for an agricultural burning permit, which is really something that the fire department here in Leominster takes care of. Does anyone have any objections with me going forward and seeing if the fire department is comfortable with issuing?
Personally, I don't. I've done controlled burns in the past. I've done several controlled burns, and I'm a big proponent of controlled burns when done for the right reasons in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, other than what you tell me, I know nothing about this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
There's someplace we can get a record of it, or a copy of it, or talk to the fire chief and see what he knows.
Yeah,
But-
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
but that begs a question, and because of what Rich said. What is he looking to burn? Is he looking to burn Bootel, is he looking to burn his own property, or both?
Both.
Both, okay.
Yeah.
It's a burning Bootel. It's a city property that is overseen by this commission. That prairie area there is there for a reason, when you talk about.
But that's one of the purposes of.
It's also got a lot of poison ivy, and that's why they didn't burn there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The trail stewards, so I think you need to
Oh.
coordinate with the trail stewards and get a copy of this
interesting.
original. Before we approve some, I mean, I don't know Mr. Erickson, but a citizen to burn.
Yeah. I'm not even asking for any sort of approval, like you guys' names wouldn't be on anything. I just wanted to raise this to you before I bring it to the fire department.
But we have oversight of Bootel,
Yeah,
conservation area.
sure.
So this
And there's a
activity-
wetland, don't forget that there's a swale that comes, it's that farm pond up there, the swale comes right down underneath the parking lot, so right in his front yard, there essentially is a wetland. There's a stream coming through it.
And what's that got to do with it?
Well, that's why he's probably coming to us, because that stream is, within,
Or because it's in Bootel.
it's in Battelle, but, yeah. But
One of the.
I think people
I know-
just
you know,
like
I know
calling
Dave really
me.
well.
Bob?
I work with numbers. Do you have an idea of the size of this, acreage or anything?
I don't have Any,
Sorry I asked.
no, that's fine. The way that I looked at this is, you're talking about burning, let's talk to the fire department.
Right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring it to you guys before I
Yeah,
did
okay,
that, because
okay.
it was, something that he presented.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah,
get,
good, sure.
get the ball rolling, processing, that's
So
fine.
Yeah.
Dave, just on it, because
We don't
I'm
need to do
a
anything.
butter there too.
Yeah.
Dave had goats, the goats have gone away, I was gonna ask him where they went, but he used to have goats that took care of all of the brush and everything.
Mhm.
Now he
That's nice.
doesn't any longer, so I
Yeah.
imagine he's just cleaning up that area. He owns about 5 acres.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the parking lot going to Patel and going up, he's the farmhouse to the right, which owned all that land. And he's got a lot up at the top of the hill. I don't think he wants to burn Patel, I think he just wants to clean up his stuff.
Yeah, that's what it sounded more
Yeah.
like to me, but.
Okay. But as I touched
Yes,
on,
Details and confirm that.
burning is a very effective way to manage for agricultural purposes.
Yeah.
To keep the
Yeah.
brush and everything else
Yeah,
out, so,
absolutely.
but, okay,
Dave's the responsible guy, so.
okay. All set there?
All set.
You wanna come up and have a seat?
Sure,
This isn't a grilling session, just wanna get to know you.
okay.
So, Jesse, go ahead and give us some background.
So,
What-
I
what
mean,
based
I'll
on
let
what
you
you told
give,
me?
I'll let you give a background on yourself and I guess why you're, I mean, you presented some of your, like your work experience and whatnot to me, and I thought it was very relevant, very impressive, so I guess you can tell all of them as well.
Sure, good evening, everyone. I'm Jordan Vachon. I currently work for the City of Worcester DPW, technically the sewer department, but I'm in stormwater management. Prior to this position, which I've been in for about a year and a half, I worked for the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, both in their Drinking Water and Groundwater Bureau and in their Watershed Management Bureau. I also volunteered in the town where I grew up in New Hampshire on their drinking water protection committee because everyone was on well water
Yeah.
in that town. So we did an annual well water testing event. That was really like the main thing that we did, but we also did, a little bit of water quality testing around town, keeping an eye on chlorides in the water from road salt. And I was interested in joining the committee. My neighbor in town was Pete Angelini. He recently passed, and I learned more from some of my other neighbors that, like, part of how he really got involved in town was on the Conservation Commission. And I've spent some time with him as neighbors, and I know that the environment mattered a lot to him as it does to me, so I wanted to volunteer some of my time to
Nice.
protect the resources in town.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Do you have any questions for us after watching us perform here tonight?
No, I think it made sense. Seems very similar to the very little bit of Conservation Commission work that I've seen in the past. I work a little bit with Eric Flint in the City of Worcester. He's their conservation agent, and then last fall I presented at the Mass Conservation Commission.
That's right, you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, the conference.
MACC, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I would love to have somebody on here who has more stormwater management.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Direct like application, would
definitely.
be awesome.
Cool.
Jude, I just want to ask you, if you mind sharing, if you have any type of educational degree?
Yes, I have a bachelor's degree in environmental science, and then through the City of Worcester in August, I'm going to start a master's of public administration program through Clark University.
Perfect.
Cool.
Cool.
Good luck with that.
Exciting.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Where do you live? You reside in Leominster?
I do, yeah, I live on West Street, 773.
Excellent.
Very
How long
cool.
have you been in Leominster?
About 2 years now,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
So you grew up in New Hampshire, where'd you grow up?
Bow, New Hampshire, right
Oh,
outside
yeah,
Concord,
yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Well, so what stage are we in? Is she?
So we just need to, assuming we didn't scare you off, we need to get you on to the city council agenda. And, then they will basically take a vote. And then assuming that all goes well and you're interested, then you would sign in, or not sign in, swear in with the clerk's office, and you'd be good to go.
You gonna tell about the secret handshake?
The secret handshake. You guys haven't
Wait,
even
give a
told
kiss
me
with
about
us,
that.
That's a secret, it's fine.
Yeah, that's a good secret.
Trust me, just trust me.
As
Yeah.
part of that process, the mayor's office making a recommendation to the city council.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll reach out to the
That's a
mayor now
key
that we
step in the
met.
process, it's not.
You know, I shouldn't tell you now, but we also have a secret ceremony with really bad Boone's Farm wanting to. So, look forward to that. I'm joking, by the way, in case somebody didn't know. All right, well, super, well, good luck with everything, and hopefully we'll have you on the commission.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Sometime
really
soon.
excited.
And
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're
Very
here.
cool.
Did have a question.
Please.
Is Leominster an MS4 community, or is there a CSO at all?
It is. MS4.
It is MS4, but it.
I'll be bugging you about that.
It's-
Lenny.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
we don't, it's not, we're officially not a CSO community, though, are we? I thought all the sewers were separated.
Oh no, it is separate.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe so.
yeah, so we're not a CSO community, they've been taken care of.
Nice.
Our agent also works for DPW on stormwater.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's part of your job.
Starting to do it. Yes.
Starting, yeah,
Yeah.
in an 8-hour Zoom
So
call.
I'll try not to bug you too much and steal all of your knowledge, but just a little bit.
Stormwater.
Super. Well, thanks,
Yeah.
nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Thanks
nice
for
to
coming
meet you
in.
all.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Excellent.
Yeah, looking forward to
Great.
it.
All right, oh, so a quick question for the group. So the next scheduled meeting is May 27th, which is the week of Memorial Day. Will we have enough for a quorum that week? Are folks gonna be
May-
around, May 27th?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, just wanna be sure. We're
Yeah, I'm
not-
not going anywhere.
Yeah, if we
Like,
weren't,
I check my calendar like I plans.
We're all very busy.
because
Very
I
busy.
crack myself up.
Jason said he's only got one filing as of last week, so it's gonna be a short meeting anyway.
Cool.
So if we had to cancel it, it wouldn't have been a huge issue, but, all right, so then next meeting then will be May 27th, 2025. The filing deadline was last Friday, May 9th at noon. And the meeting after that will be June 10th, 2025, and the filing deadline for that will be May 23rd, which is week from Friday, 2025 at noon.
Yes.
With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich.
Wow, that was fast.
Second, Rich, Bob?
All right, and on that vote, Nick,
Bye.
Mike,
Aye.
Bob,
Hi.
Steph,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
And aye.